Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into Session 9, breaking down the original manuscript and script on AI-driven cost reduction. We are going to explore the core theme of leveraging artificial intelligence to take traditional, intuition-based cost reduction and transform it into an absolute strategic powerhouse for your business. Let's get right into it. So, let me ask you something that's probably been driving you crazy. Why is it that you spend months exhausting every cost-cutting avenue, but when you look at the bottom line, nothing's really changed? It's literally one of the most frustrating things in business today. You squeeze the budget, you push hard for discounts, yet your profitability barely moves. The reality is, old methods of cost reduction completely fail against modern market volatility. You just can't trim around the edges anymore.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. 1. The hidden limits of cost reduction. 2. External AI supply chain analysis. 3. Risk assessment and alternative suppliers. 4. Internal fixed cost leaks. 5. 3 major fixed cost wastes. And finally, 6. Data-driven decision-making.
All right, starting with Section 1, the hidden limits of cost reduction, and exactly why those traditional ways just flat out fail. Look, there's a massive shift happening in procurement and operations right now. The traditional methods, they're just too slow. They rely on fragmented data, they put way too much trust in risky single supplier relationships, and honestly, they depend heavily on gut feeling. But our new reality is AI-driven. This approach is objective, it's predictive, it integrates all your data, and it diversifies your suppliers. When global markets are moving at the speed of light, relying on your intuition, yeah, that's just a recipe for disaster. Moving on to Section 2. External AI supply chain analysis, or how to navigate external chaos. What's genuinely fascinating here is the sheer volume of data AI can digest all at once. We're talking about automatically collecting and analyzing global data across 4 massive categories. You've got commodity prices, logistics metrics like freight rates and lead times, exchange rates and financial indicators, and of course, supplier performance, stuff like quality and delivery history. Instead of having a human analyst spend weeks pulling these reports together, AI gives you the power to spot real-time market shifts way before they ever hit your bottom line.
But here's the kicker. AI isn't just a giant calculator. It literally gives your procurement teams a superpower. It lets you instantly compare the market average against what you're actually paying. Plus, it analyzes complex price trends so you know the exact perfect moment to negotiate. It's about uncovering structural cost differences, not just hunting for superficial price drops. Ultimately, this hands you objective, data-driven negotiation power. You aren't just sitting there asking for a discount anymore. You're presenting undeniable market evidence.
Section 3. Risk assessment and alternative suppliers. Think of this as your shield against disruption. So, how exactly does this build a resilient supply chain? Well, it's a clear 4-step process. First, you set your strict requirements, things like price, quality, and lead time. Second, the AI rapidly searches and filters a massive global database of suppliers. Third, it runs a comprehensive risk evaluation. And fourth, it zeroes in on the optimal supplier selection. Following this progression means you always have viable backups ready to roll, so you're never left stranded when a sudden crisis hits your primary vendor. Diving a bit deeper into that risk evaluation step, AI evaluates everything from a potential supplier's historical delivery stability to their underlying financial health and even broader geopolitical risks. It takes wildly unpredictable global events and turns them into manageable, scorable data points. By the time you actually pick an alternative supplier, you know exactly what their risk profile looks like. Okay, so you've optimized your external buying, you've diversified your suppliers, and you've locked in great rates. Awesome. But what if you're still bleeding money internally? Seriously, a perfectly optimized supply chain means absolutely nothing if your internal cost structure is full of holes. Which brings us to Section 4, internal fixed cost leaks and how to find that hidden money. The crucial thing we need to do here is completely redefine fixed costs. For decades, managers have looked at fixed costs as these unchangeable burdens. They see rent, equipment depreciation, software maintenance, and they just shrug, right? They think, well, that's just the cost of doing business. But actually, scratch that. That's entirely wrong. Fixed costs are a highly manageable area, and they are notoriously prone to severe structural leaks. They aren't inevitable burdens. They're basically a treasure map if you know how to read the data. And how do we read that data? Integration. Historically, financial and operational data have been totally siloed. Your ERP system, your accounting software, your vendor contracts, they never talk to each other. Well, AI steps in as the ultimate bridge. It integrates all these fragmented systems. It compares actual equipment usage against maintenance fees, or it matches contract terms to real-world consumption. It finally gives management total, transparent visibility into where the money is actually going. All right, Section 5. 3 major fixed cost wastes. Let's go on a hunt for financial leaks. Get ready to go on a bit of a treasure hunt inside your own organization. We're looking for the 3 most common internal financial leaks, the ones that drain profitability without anyone even noticing. Number 1, excess contracts. This is when you're paying for unused software licenses or holding on to idle equipment just because we've always had it. Number 2, energy and utility inefficiency, specifically usage during non-operating hours. And number 3, duplicate spending. This happens when siloed departments unknowingly buy the exact same services or tools completely independently. Let's zoom in on those first and third wastes, because fragmented departmental management is a massive culprit here. Think about excess contracts. Maybe IT bought 500 software licenses, but AI reveals only 300 employees actually log in. You're literally paying for ghosts. Then there's duplicate spending. Marketing buys a specialized analytics tool, and sales buys a nearly identical one from a different vendor simply because they don't talk to each other. AI spots these redundancies instantly and suggests enterprise-level consolidation. Now, what about that second waste, energy and utilities? AI brilliantly tracks optimization by matching your factory or office non-operating hours directly against energy consumption data. Think about it. If the factory shuts down at 10 p.m., but utility usage randomly spikes at 2 a.m., AI spots that invisible leak immediately. It flags an anomaly that a human poring over a monthly electric bill would almost certainly miss. Finally, Section 6, Data-Driven Decision-Making, the grand finale. Here's the bottom line. Cost reduction is no longer just some tactical task for the procurement team to handle in a vacuum. When you combine AI-driven external market intelligence with ruthless internal fixed cost optimization, you create this incredible loop of sustainable long-term ROI. By connecting these two spheres, leadership can finally ensure that the savings captured at the supplier level actually survive the journey through internal operations. And more importantly, they land exactly where they belong, on your bottom line, boosting your ultimate competitiveness. I want to leave you with one final, provocative thought. AI isn't just about cutting costs, it's about redesigning your competitive edge. Really think about how your organization operates right now. In an era where global markets shift overnight and internal leaks can bleed a company dry, is your company's strategy based on gut feeling, or is it based on data? It's time to leverage AI to secure your bottom line. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to start looking at your own fixed costs and supply chains through this totally new lens.